you're here. You've made it to yet another masterclass. And in this one, we are going to be talking all about Pinterest, what Pinterest is. Let's really break it down for those of you who may not have ever seen or used Pinterest. And we're really going to dig into what Pinterest can do. So those of you who maybe are familiar but aren't really into it and don't see really any kind of benefit to using Pinterest. And I'm going to show you how to leverage Pinterest for your business, how you can make money, how you can create that reoccurring customer base, and how we can really leverage that for our business. So you do not want to miss this masterclass. This is going to cover everything when it comes to Pinterest, including how you can monetize and put ads on Pinterest and the best ways to get noticed. So without further ado, get ready, get set. Let's go. Welcome, friends. This is a masterclass, so I want to make sure that we have enough time for everything that we need to talk about, because there's a lot of content that's going to be in this one. So if you are a note taker, definitely make sure that you grab your pad and your pen of choice, and let's get started. Let's start at the very beginning, shall we? So Pinterest. What is Pinterest and why is Pinterest a thing? What is it? Pinterest offers a very unique platform. And I say this because not only is it unique that there are no other like competing platforms like this, but for the simple matter of you can have a very wide range of people who are using Pinterest and are searching it on a daily basis. The people who are using Pinterest are looking specifically for inspiration, for reasons, for brands, for looks, for style, for home decor, for recipes, for everything. So you have a lot of eyes that are out there searching Pinterest every single day for whatever it is that they might be looking for. Now, as with my other masterclass series, I am going to go ahead and give you some stats. So those of you who do really enjoy those stats, this is really where you want to be. So when we ended 2019, Pinterest had a 28% increase in users. That increase equaled 322 million users. 322 million users. Now, for all of you paying attention, that was at the end of 2019. Hi, we're in 2020 and anything can happen, including the fact that we're going to have a whole lot of people who are stuck in their homes. And I can guarantee you that the number of Pinterest users is probably at least doubled by that point. One of the things that makes Pinterest really unique and different and stand out is that it is the only discovery engine. So you may Google things with your Google machine. You may Bing things if you're a Microsoft person. My husband is. So he's always using Bing for all of his search engine types of things. Pinterest, though, is another main discovery engine when it comes to searching for different things. And I, of course, have to throw this stat in there because I'm one of them. And so I have to tell you that in the US, 8 out of every 10 moms are using Pinterest. That is 84% of weekly users on Pinterest are using the platform to decide what to buy. 84% of people using the platform every single week are trying to decide what to buy. Are you listening? That's the marketing god saying hello. So when we break it all down, when it comes to Pinterest, your business can be so much more than just a brand. It can actually give a spot of inspiration. So we really have to take in the majestical power of Pinterest and what it can do for our business. Now, for some of you, you may be very familiar with Pinterest, okay? But before I really dig into the meat of this whole discussion, let me break down some of the actual terms when it comes to Pinterest, because if you're not fully familiar, if you've only jumped on a couple of times, or you really just don't understand it, or you're brand new to it and now you're looking at it, I want to let you know, here's some terms that you're gonna need to know when it comes to Pinterest. So the first word in the vocabulary is pinner. A pinner happens to be the person who is looking for inspiration and pinning ideas, okay? A pin is actually the content that a pinner is pinning. And this is the content that is posted on Pinterest. Now, the really cool thing, and this is why it is a discovery search engine, is that the pins can be a video, an image, a text or graphic, and it can link directly back to the original source of where those things came from. Now, I want you to imagine, if you will, a virtual corkboard, okay? These are the things, and maybe some of you have done this as adults too, right? Maybe you've created a dream board or a vision board for your dreams, or maybe you have been in other industries where you really need to storyboard out the project that you're working on, right? Even designers, home designers, decor designers, right? Interior designers, they're really creating these storyboards. And in a sense, that is pretty much what you can compare Pinterest to. It is a digital corkboard in which people can pin different ideas and inspiration on. Okay, so that's what you're doing. Now, when you place a pin on Pinterest, you personally, you are actually linking it back to the source that it came from. So, for example, I'm on my phone, I've taken a picture of this fantastic new warmer that I absolutely love, and now I want to add it to my Pinterest and put it on my maybe Halloween board, right? Because maybe it happens to be a spooky warmer and I want it on my Halloween board. So I can go into Pinterest, I can hit the plus button, I can upload a pin, I can name the pin, give it a title, I can then give it a description, and then I can give it a link to actually source back to. The link that I'm going to attach to my pin is where I want the pinner to be going to when they click on my picture. So the majority of the time for me, when I'm posting those pins, it's usually back to my official Scentsy website. Other times, depending on what the post is, maybe it's a quote, maybe it's something that is very specific from my Instagram or my Twitter or my Facebook or one of my VIP groups, or just something like that, right? I can then designate it to maybe go directly to my VIP group. I can maybe designate it to drive people directly to my Instagram page and my profile on Instagram. Same thing with Twitter, right? So you can really make that decision when you're putting pins onto Pinterest. Now, the next term that we're going to talk about is RePin. Okay, so we've pinned our picture of our spooky warmer to our Halloween board on Pinterest. Now, let's say you are searching for Halloween and you happen to see this picture roll up into your feed. Just so happens to be my amazing picture of my Jack Skellington warmer, and you're like, oh my gosh, that would go perfect in my decor. Where can I find this item? And you click on the pin. When you click on the pin, it will of course take you to the website where I've determined it to be. But maybe you're like, I need to remember this because maybe next year Or maybe I have a best friend who's absolutely obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas. I need to make sure that they're seeing all of this. So I'm gonna save this to my Halloween board too, because I wanna be reminded of this. So maybe they've created a Halloween board. So they're going to repin my original pin, meaning they're going to save it and put it in one of their boards on their digital pen board, right? Okay, that's a RePin. A promoted pin, I guarantee you probably already know what this is without any kind of explanation. Obviously, a promoted pin is usually used by a business entity or consumers or bloggers that they have paid to boost or promote that pin. Then you have what is called rich pins, and a rich pin is actually a pin that serves a purpose. Like, it is actually a clickable button on Pinterest. Now, these are definitely reserved for the business accounts when it comes to Pinterest. Usually also they are a promoted pin or a sponsored pin, but there's actually 4 product categories that these rich pins can go into. 1 is products, 2 is recipe, 3 is article, and 4 is app pins. So let's say maybe it's an app and you see an ad that you can tell is an ad, and maybe it's Microsoft Excel, right? And it's saying, you know, you should install Microsoft Excel onto your device today. And there's a little button in that pin. That is a rich pin, okay? It's gonna take them directly to a link in which they can download that application or install that application and then use it on their device. Boards. Do y'all know what boards are? Okay, boards are, think of your cork board again, right? Your pen board, okay? When you're saving things on there, it's almost like you've got like a little recipe box. In every single recipe box is where you're kind of sticking all of the pins that you're repinning or saving, right? And all of those have a title. So it's basically the ability to group like-minded pins. Again, using the example of Halloween, maybe you have an example because you are all about being a fur mom, right? So anything that has to do with dogs or cats, what have you, right? That you've created a board for that says like my furry friends, okay? Maybe you are expecting a baby and you're really trying to find inspiration and look for ways that you can decorate the nursery when that sweet bundle of joy arrives, right? So maybe you've created a board that says nursery or baby, right? So all of those pins that you're either gonna repin or you're gonna save are gonna go into that board on your Pinterest. Group boards are ways that you can have several different people actually pinning into the same board. So again, think of your baby or your nursery pin board, okay? Now, maybe you and your best friend, you know that she's gonna be helping you with all of the decorating and you've been talking about ideas and you're like, oh my gosh, when you see something, you have to let me know. You can create a board to where she also has the ability to save into that as well. So again, it's more collaborative. You're able to share ideas and inspiration and multiple people can actually use it and put things in it. Then you have a secret board. Now, secret boards, you can create as many as you'd like. If you're using this for more of a business and maybe you still use Pinterest for somewhat of your personal things, then maybe it's time that you actually create a secret board. A secret board is something that basically only you or whoever else that you've given permission to can actually access the contents inside of that. So that means if I visit your Pinterest profile and I can look at all of your boards, if you have a secret board, then I will not be able to see that unless, of course, you've made me a contributor and then I'm putting into that board, but otherwise it's a secret board. So I really advise using those. If you're using Pinterest for your business use, but you really want to filter out, you don't want all of your personal stuff out there, then that's fine. Create some secret boards or make certain boards secret. So then that way on your business, it's really just impacting the things that either you relate to or the things that you're really looking to have in common with your customers or your future team members, things like that, things that are going to be relevant to your business. Now for a quick hot second, let's talk about audience insights. Now, this is where the meat of Pinterest happens when you're talking about your business. So the analytics of how many people are looking at your pin, how many people are saving that pin, how many people are repinning that pin, how many people are actually clicking on that pin to be taken to the website that you set up, right? All of those analytics are able to be tracked and searched and really just looked at by the owner of those pins. So you know what your impact is, maybe which pins actually get a bigger conversion rate, right? How many more people are clicking when they see this type of a pin, or they're interested in these pins more than they are the other ones that you're putting out there. Now you know where to focus, right? You know what's drawing attention. So it's just another way to use your analytics to really gain insight into the audience who follows you. Now, very quickly, I just want to also point out the fact that there are pin codes. I want you to look at pin codes. It's basically a QR code, but it is specifically related to Pinterest. So it's a circle, and it usually has some colored little dots around it. So again, it's like all those little dots magically, just like a QR code, work together to be able to open a link to that specific pin board, okay? Example, one of my favorite stores that I love to shop at is called Maurice's, and I got an ad yesterday from them, and it showed the new cardigans that were coming out for fall, and of course I am a sucker for cardigans, and I was like, oh my goodness, I must see what is currently available. And lo and behold, it had a pin code on it from Pinterest. And so again, it's that circular code with some little colored dots around it. All I did was open up Pinterest, go to the camera icon, hold it over just like I would a QR code, and boom, it popped up a little link on my phone. I pressed that. It instantly took me to the board that Maurice's has for their new fall fashion. You can do the same thing with your business as well. So again, if you're familiar with QR codes and maybe you want to start catering to more of a Pinterest audience, start using pin codes in your marketing materials, and you will soon see and maybe get some feedback on how well those are actually working for you. All right, so we've kind of gone over what Pinterest is. We've talked about like the things that you need to know when it comes to Pinterest. Now let's actually talk about Pinterest content. This is important. Remember how we talked about Pinterest is the only visual discovery search engine, right? Okay, so your images that you are putting on Pinterest, they need to be visually appealing. And a visually appealing board or pin are really strategic and intentional when it comes to marketing for your business. I mean, visual content is just essential, right? We've talked about Instagram. That's a very visual type of a platform, right? Pinterest is your other visual platform that you really want to be looking at. So for our business and the way that we're using it, okay, these are where you need to really make sure that your curated images, your UGC, your user generated content is living, because you are wanting to get more eyes on those pins. So you want them to be the most visually appealing. You take good measure to make sure that maybe you're photographing using some really great natural lighting. Maybe that even means going outside on a really great day, right? Maybe that means setting up a little area in your house that's really well lit and you can create a nice little background scheme with your pictures. These are ways that you can really dial into your content, because the more visual appealing it is to a consumer, the more inspiration they're going to have, the more repins you're going to see from that content. And of course, that means more eyes looking on your business. Again, with the statistics, I'm going to tell you some. So 85%, 85%. 85% of penners give more attention to a visual pen compared to a graphic pen. So, or more or less a pen that maybe just has words on it. Now, just because 85% more penners are more attracted to that visual picture, I don't want you to discount the fact of having a good graphic with font or words and a saying or what have you is not going to have an impact, because it very well can. It can really speak to the consumer out there or the person looking for the inspiration. So don't shy away from those. But again, being able to look back at your analytics and your audience insights is going to show you which pens perform better. A really great tip when it comes to Pinterest, here's the deal, guys. We talked about this when we talked about Instagram and IGTV and how it's really just set up for more of that mobile experience, right? So when I've got my phone and I'm searching Pinterest, 9 times out of 10, I'm looking at it in a vertical manner, correct? Right? I'm not usually holding my phone like this to look at my pens. But that is not to say that a square pen won't work really well, because it will. However, that 2-to-3 ratio aspect in your images are really going to stand out when it comes to Pinterest, especially when you're using it or when your consumers are looking at it from, again, that visual and that vertical platform, right? So they're really looking for the pens that stand out, because let's just say that 2-to-3 ratio, that aspect ratio picture or graphic or what have you, it takes up more real estate. So again, it's going to just be more in the eyes of the people who are looking for content or inspiration. Another tip when you're putting things on Pinterest is not only that it is that 2-to-3 aspect ratio, but also making sure that you are giving your pens a really great title and you're really writing good copy in the description. Because here's the deal, people may find your pen visually appealing and go straight off of that, but if they're actually looking at the title and the description, isn't that where you want to give them more info on what's going on? Maybe that's describing more of what is in the actual pen or the picture. Hero! If you need to reinforce an image, of course you could do some text overlay on top of that and really bring it on home. Now, if you were really looking to bolster that actual audience insight when it comes to looking at your pens, then you can also take another added layer to that, and you can actually put a logo onto the pen that you're actually using. So putting that logo, what is that going to do? That's really going to distinguish your brand from everyone else's, right? So your brand is going to be the one that they're going to see, they're going to recognize more and more. And if you're posting more consistently and continuously, right, then that logo, it's really going to start to be remembered. And they're going to really start to look for, they're going to follow those pens, and that logo image is what they're going to look for. So I would highly recommend that if that is in your branding strategy, you need to be using it. Of course, having brand awareness all comes from consistency. So we have to be consistent and continuously penning on Pinterest. I don't know what that looks like for you. That may mean that you use a third-party scheduler, because there are those out there. There's a really great app or a platform called IFTTT. You can also use Hootsuite. Hootsuite is another application that is really, really great, and it's very helpful in scheduling out that content. So maybe you only have a little bit every single week to actually take time to schedule some things out. Go to Hootsuite, use some of those third-party content posting programs, and that's a really great way for you to work smarter, not harder. So instead of spending maybe 4 to 5 hours hanging around on Pinterest, pinning and creating different content, right? You can really just sit down when you've got time to focus and just blast that content out, set it up through Hootsuite, and it will automatically post for you. Now, again, I'm going to throw in a little bit more of the statistics, but again, having this completely visual discovery search engine, you guys, when people are looking for inspiration, when they're decorating, not only are they looking for like, you know, birthdays and occasions, they are looking for the major holidays. You need to make sure that on your Pinterest profile, you do have a board for every single major holiday, because I can guarantee you, as you get closer to those seasonal holidays, you are going to have more people who are searching and using those words to find more of that inspiration or things that they need to purchase. Now, here we go. All right, so sharing seasonal content, you really should, according to Pinterest, you should be focusing on this 30 to 45 days in advance of that seasonal holiday. So this doesn't mean on the day of, right? Because typically, and you can put yourself into this category as well, right? But if you are looking to plan maybe a Valentine party, right? When are you going to start doing that? You're not going to do it the day of. You're probably going to start working on it maybe a month or two in advance. So it's really around that area. Pinterest suggests 30 to 45 days. I would really suggest 30 to 60 days beforehand, really just spending some time and getting that seasonal content there, because you know they're going to come. Like we talked about with Instagram, right? We're going to build it, they will come. When you put that content out there, they will be searching for that. So that way, as they are getting ready for that holiday and they begin to search it, they're going to be seeing you, rather than the opposite of having the holiday come. You're not going to have as many searches. And I'm going to back this up with some statistics. So in 2018, more than 56 million searches were for Valentine's Day. In that same year, 227 million searches were for Halloween, and 327 million searches were for our December holidays. So if that gives you any kind of an idea of the sheer number of people looking for inspiration, looking for things, searching out new products, things that they are looking for to buy, or brands that they want to follow and they already like, these holidays are the times. Getting into the business nitty gritty. So we really want to optimize our Pinterest, right? We want to make sure that we are getting the most out of it for our business. This is a really great way as a strategy for marketing, because it does not cost you to have a really strong Pinterest profile. It does not. The same way that you would leverage your Instagram, your Twitter, or your Facebook, you can do the same thing with Pinterest. Only with Pinterest, you have the opportunity to have a higher conversion rate coming back to your specific website, to your Instagram, or to whomever it is that you're looking to actually push that out to. So optimizing Pinterest as a CEO, optimizing Pinterest as an SEO is one of the best ways that you can do Pinterest. It is a virtual search engine after all. So we really have to play into that, and we have to be aware of that when we are working on Pinterest ideas. Now, just like with any other search engine, keywords are going to be what you want to be looking for, right? If you're looking to pin some holiday images, maybe you're looking at Halloween, Thanksgiving in particular, you want to make sure that those keywords are included in not only the title, but also in the description of each and every pin, because those are going to be a searchable aspect for you. One of my other favorite things when it comes to any kind of social media platform, hello hashtags. The hashtag power is real. Okay, let me finish this. Okay, thank you. Hashtags are really going to be what drives the car, right? So just like with Instagram, just like with Twitter, just like with Facebook, as long as you're on that public scene, right? Hashtags are going to be what people are going to search. And that is going to be a great way to be able to incorporate into your brand marketing. Let's talk about the content that we're putting on Pinterest. So the content strategy is a little bit different here because I say this because maybe you're putting up that pin of a great Halloween warmer, right? And you've got a little design, you've got it set up, it's a great visual. But here's the deal. Your pin is going to come up not just because people are searching for Halloween, it's going to become a better search for people who are looking for other categories as well. So being able to not only capture that niche market, but you're also able to capture all the other people who are out there just searching maybe for straight decor pieces as well. This really gives the power to the brands and to the pinners to be able to have more content get looked at when it's not just even being looked at for those specific keywords. Pinterest does recommend follow-up when it comes to people taking a look at your pin boards, commenting, messages, things like this. So just as we would say with any other kind of marketing out there that you're going to be doing, you're going to have to figure out a system that you can follow up with, right? So when someone comments, when somebody maybe sends a message, depending on the pin that you've got out there, right? You want to make sure that you are touching base with that consumer, because otherwise what happens, right? Just like if you were handing out samples, you don't get that person's information until they come back to you again. You're not going to know that they were ever even interested. The same way with Pinterest. If they're commenting that they'd really love more information, or this is their favorite way to decorate their home, you want to be included in that follow-up, right? You want to start building those relationships. You want to start being able to have that, because not only is that going to help your business strategy when it comes to marketing, but it's also going to open that consumer up to realizing there's a real person on the other side of this. That's what we're all about. Now, you want to start talking about paid advertising? Well, don't you worry, because Pinterest also has the ads feature. So you can create ads and you can monetize them. How you choose to do so is completely up to you. You're going to have to, and this is my recommendation, is I would start putting some content out there on Pinterest. Then I would take a step back, and after about 60 to 90 days, I would really take a look at what pins are really bringing you more revenue, what pins are really getting repinned, and maybe what is your conversion rate on all of those, right? So being able to go back and look at the data that comes from putting those pins out, that way you're able to take your marketing money, and let's be real here, right? We don't want to spend an arm and a leg when it comes to our marketing, but at the same time, if we could boost that engagement, then we can really leverage the ones that are doing well and monetize those specifically. Shopping on Pinterest has gotten super easy now. A lot of the major brands are doing this. So if you've seen pins and you've seen it and you know how it works, right? You can quite literally shop directly from that pin. Super cool, right? Same thing when they're on Instagram and you have the shop feature. It's the same thing is happening on Pinterest as well. Now the Shop the Pin feature is really able to streamline that marketing commerce. And when you're being able to streamline the commerce, then you're being able to cut out a lot of the extra steps that sometimes would discourage a consumer from even wanting to click through to get to your website, right? Because maybe it's not very user friendly, or maybe you don't have the option for PayPal or a way to be able to input information. Trust me, from somebody who buys a lot online, I can tell you the last thing I want to do is get up and go get my credit card every time. So if there's a way to make that easier when I'm shopping off of social media, hello, those are the options I'm going to go for. Now, if you have a personal account with Pinterest, it is very, very easy to convert that and switch that into a business profile. So it just takes a couple of clicks. I have my business hub set up, and that's what they call it with Pinterest, right? So in your hub, only you can see those insights, but that hub really captures everything that's happening in your Pinterest boards. So it's going to be able to capture that conversion rate for you. It's going to show you how many clicks, how many saves, how many repins, how many eyes are really looking at the things that you're putting out there. Again, being able to really dig into that data is going to give you so much more direction to determine what you should be putting out there, because as much as I can tell you this works better than that, honestly, it all depends on what the user is searching for at the end of the day. Now, I will say that even though Pinterest is very mobile friendly and you can even look up the insights and everything that you need from your phone, in order to actually set up your shoppable link, that does have to be done on the desktop version of Pinterest. So if that is something that you want to do, just know that you will not find it on the mobile version. You will have to sit down at the desktop version and you will have to actually set all of that up. But it is very easy, it is very doable. And here's another really great thing when it comes to Pinterest, you guys. Hello. There is a lot of help that Pinterest specifically gives. They have a whole support center that is really dedicated to business. And you can actually sign up once you have your account transferred into a business hub or a business profile. You're going to get more specific marketing tips and strategy and insight and how-tos directly from Pinterest as being a business hub. And as they see your conversion starting to happen, they're going to be able to come in and actually help you specifically with what you're looking to do in your business. All right, guys, so hopefully that has weeded out a lot of the questions when it comes to Pinterest. I am going to link a video above that is going to show you exactly how you can walk through Pinterest. So if you've never really looked at it before, hopefully that will give you a visual insight better into what you're looking at, where you need to go, and really your profile as a whole. What does it look like? What should it look like? And what do you need to include? So make sure that you click that link above. If you have questions, feel free to let me know. And as always, peace, love, happiness.